Hey, y'all, ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. A few minutes late, but we here. We in the building. We are ready to get into the show and do a whole lot of great stuff for y'all tonight, as we always do right here at the beginning. I always like to give you a little bit of tease. We got a lot to get into. We got black hockey players facing racist tweets. We ain't talked about black hockey players because you never can talk about black hockey players because there ain't that many of them, y'all. We got teachers giving lap dances. And you got a woman that's hiding her gun in a very, very intimate area. And we got a little boy who died defending his sister. We got a lot to get into tonight. We got special guests in the building and yours truly. Ain't no hashtag when Marcus J is late, but it's live and it's right now.
Yeah. It's about that time. It's about that time to get.
Button your lip, open your ears, strap on your thinking cap. Socially conscious talk that's entertaining with a dash of humor and the top sports stories of the week. It's time for Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J.
Self has Jordan. Jordan with 2 seconds to go. Puts it up and scores at the buzzer. Michael Jordan has won it for Chicago. Manning lobs it. Burris alone. Touchdown, New York.
Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. He hits one deep to right center. That ball is out of here. The Yankees win the pennant.
If they lying,
You must be half stepping.
no half stepping
Yeah.
with Marcus J is live, y'all. Late as hell, but we live. We in the building. Ain't no half step with Marcus J live from the den. Legacy Internet Radio. Be down with us tonight at 804-402-2893. Be down with the flagship show right here on Legacy Internet Radio. We appreciate everybody that's listening to us. We appreciate the patience that you guys had. You know, we got a little bit of a late start, but you know what? We're here. We're in the building. We live from the den. We got a lot to get into tonight, and so we're happy to have you. We're happy to have the folks listening to us on TuneIn, listening to us on your smartphones, your tablets, your computers. Got the folks listening to us on our interactive website, MixLR. We appreciate those folks. They hold us down every single week. We couldn't do this show without you guys, and we appreciate it. Legacy Internet Radio, the fastest growing internet radio station in all of the internet. So we appreciate it. Thank you guys for the love. I got my sister in the room who I'm going to introduce here momentarily. SY is on her way. We also potentially may have another special guest joining us later on. But right now you got yours truly, and you got my sister sitting here right with me, Miss Toyana. What's up, girl?
Hey, Square.
How you doing?
How are you? I'm good, Marcus.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm glad to see you. Thank you. You got to do the
Thank
intro for the first
you.
time.
I know. I got my cherry popped on it.
There
Woo!
you go. There you
Not
go.
a virgin no more.
There you go. Hey, look, man, all of the fam on Ain't No Hashtag with Marcus J has to do it at least once.
Oh, absolutely.
So you got it done. I appreciate it. It's good to
Thank
see
you.
you. Thank you so much. We got
Same
our
here.
sister Joy is checking in with us. What's up, Joy?
Hi, Joy.
Thank you so much for listening to us. My brother Sid is out there as
Hi,
well.
Sid.
What up, bruh? I appreciate it. So listen, we are waiting for some guests to join us, but we don't need them. You know why? Because
I know
I
that's
got
right.
you and you got me, like Sonny and Cher. So you ready to just jump in and ask some questions that make us all say, what the hell?
Yeah, what the hell?
What the hell?
What the hell?
What the hell? All right, now the first question, well, not even question, first story we'll get to. We don't very often get to talk about follow-ups to the stories that we do. Oftentimes, we get into a story, the story is what it is, and we don't really go back to it. This is a story that we talked about a couple of weeks ago, and we are actually having an opportunity to go back to it. It's about a Missouri man who was locked up after officials realized that he never, ever served the 13-year prison sentence that he had been sentenced to. Back in 2000, Cornelius, I believe his name, Cornelius Mike Anderson, was the fella. He actually was convicted in 2000 of armed robbery, and he just did a whole lot of bad stuff. And they told him at the time, when we need you to come to prison, we'll holler at you. They sent him home. They convicted him right there on the spot, but they said, we'll holler at you when we need you to come to prison. And they never hollered at him. 13 years passed. He didn't get the call to go to jail at all. And he built a family. He started several businesses. He became a God-fearing man. He raised a family. He did everything right. He'd even been pulled over by the police and told them who he was and all that kind of stuff. And it still never ended up on the radar of the authorities. And a few months ago, about a year ago, people showed up at his house. I guess they got their paperwork right after 13 years. Busted in his house, guns ablazing while he's feeding his 3-year-old child, and haul him off to prison. He's been there for 9 months. Recently, a judge declared that he should be released based on the exemplary, and I always say that word wrong, try to be smart, but I always say that word wrong. But he had good behavior the whole time he was waiting to go to prison, and now he has since been released after 9 months. I don't know if you've heard this story, but based on how we've set it up, why don't you tell me what your thoughts are?
I haven't heard that story, but it's probably not the ever first time that this has ever happened. I think this is just one that is just been out and everybody just caught it. I will have to say this: if they thought that it was okay to arrest somebody after 13 or 20 years plus, and for him to make up for something he did in his past, that's a problem in our justice system. And again, I'm not always going to push race, but this one I am. It sounds like this young man is a black man.
He is.
Right. And
He
again, you just sharing that he was able to, have a mistake, do wrong, and, now is caught up with him. But if Cornelius was a white dude, and they finally realized, oh, my bad, I wonder if they would, go and try to imprison him if he was white, or maybe another nationality, not even just white. So I think it's fair, to be honest. I don't know what he did. I mean, I'm not condoning if he murdered anyone. I'm not condoning if he raped anyone. I'm not condoning any of the things he did in the past. I'm only going by the fault and the mistakes of the justice system, and that was their responsibility to keep us safe from this individual. Thank God that he didn't take that as, oh, okay, my free get out of pass jail, so let me see what else I can do.
Right.
So I think that's how I'm going to end that one.
I think we have seen situations where people didn't go to prison like they were supposed to, and they acted a damn fool. Mm-hmm. This was a dude in 1999. He was convicted of armed robbery of a Burger King manager who was making a bank deposit, but he was out on bail while he was appealing, which is the reason his appeals got shot down because of what the state had labeled as clerical errors, but he never did, in fact, go to prison. And the thing that we talked about when we talked about this story a couple of weeks ago was the behavior that he showed when he was waiting to go to prison. He never hid. He lived in the same place.
Wow.
He registered businesses.
Wow.
So this was a dude who wasn't hiding. And one of the things that we talked about when we talked about this story was, do we think that it's fair for him to go to prison? Now that he has since been released, I guess it's a different argument. And I know we were somewhat split at the time whether we felt that he should go to prison or not. But the fact that he has since been released, I know that I said at the time, you commit armed robbery, you do what you did, you go to jail, but I also know that the justice system does not leave room for interpretation, so to speak. It's usually very black and white, particularly when you're dealing with black folk. And so when I saw that this guy did not go to jail, but he basically lived the life of a model citizen for the entire 13 years, ironically was the same amount of years that he was actually sentenced to go to prison, I had a hard time accepting he staying in prison. We had a lot of people in social media who were listening to us that night who said that they thought that he should not have to go, but he should be required to perform some sort of community service on the outside, whether it be some sort of mentor or something like that. And so to see that this man has since been sent home by Judge Terry Lynn Brown, who lauded his, quote, exemplary behavior during his 13 years of freedom. She said, quote, or he doesn't allude to, it's Terry, a unisex name.
Yeah.
But Terry said, Judge Terry Lynn Brown says, quote, "You've been a good father, you've been a good husband, you've been a good tax-paying citizen of the state of Missouri. That leads me to believe that you're a good man and a changed man." He walked into court with his wife and his 3-year-old child on his arms, as well as his mom. And, you know, I am personally very happy for the guy. He says, quote, "Very happy. My faith has always been in God. I'm just thankful. Thank God for everything." So I'm just glad. Yeah, I'm glad that this guy, you know, had a happy ending. He deserved to be punished for what he did. But a big part of going to prison is to have some sort of rehabilitation. And clearly this man has some sort of rehabilitation on the outside.
Absolutely. That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Without actually
having to serve time.
Without having to serve time. So I appreciate that. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. 804-402-2893 is the number to dial to be down with us here on Legacy Internet Radio. Ain't no half stepping, Marcus J. The flagship show. Looking for you guys out there in social media to be a part of the show here tonight. So feel free to hit us up on the Facebook page, whether it be on the Ain't No Half Step on Marcus J Facebook page, the Legacy Internet Radio Facebook page, the personal pages for any of the folks that you may have here on the air right now. Join the show. We appreciate it. We see y'all out there listening. We see the lights on here in the Richmond, Virginia area. We also see the lights on. You see Richmond is here. My hometown of Jersey City, New Jersey is checking in right now. We appreciate that.
Jersey. Okay, I'm a little southern on that one.
Yes,
sorry.
we know you we know you representing Charlotte, North Carolina, the Queen City. From Queen City. We got my sister, author Desiree Monique, is listening to us right now as well. So I know that Jersey, I know that Virginia, and hopefully at some point we get some folks in North Carolina.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to call my.
You gonna call up some people? You gonna send some notes?
Yeah,
I see you got your note out here.
I do.
Down. You know,
I'm gonna have to get on my peeps.
You tell
gotta
them, represent. You tell them. Ain't no hashtag with Marcus J. Joy's listening. She's saying that the justice system is messy. So it's hard for her to decide on what side of that she falls on, but we appreciate your comment.
Thanks, Joy.
We appreciate your comment. And when I let off the show, I mentioned a black hockey player. Now, I don't know about you, Toyana, but I know that you like football.
I do.
Because you like the Carolina Panthers,
yes.
And every time you call them by that god-awful
name.
Go
Kitties!
Yeah, that. Every time you say that.
Go Kitties!
Yeah, I just kind of look at you and I wonder if the dudes that play for the Carolina Panthers, how they feel when they hear you say that. Like,
they love it.
Do they want to be called Panthers? Like, Panther, that's like a big tough
It
guy.
is, but when you look, they've had a great season where I can now say that they were Panthers at sometimes.
Yes.
But, you know, come on now. In the history, they were little kitties. They were kitties that did some terrible whack plays. You know, this is our second or third time in history getting close to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And we still have no rings, you know, and then how many coaches we've had.
It's a lot. I think you got Ron Rodriguez right now, and you guys have been through it. So I set that up because I know, you know, the stereotype is ladies don't like sports.
Oh, I love sports, and I watch hockey too.
You watch hockey?
Mm-hmm.
Get out of town.
I watch sports. The only thing I can't do is baseball yet. I'm
Really?
not that patient.
Now, see, I'm a baseball fan. You
Not
can look
that
at my
patient.
attire right now.
I think that's a Northern Yankee thing, right? Because y'all have the Sox and the New York Yankees and all that. And
Well, you can see my attire.
Yeah,
Tell the people what I got on.
Oh my God. New York Yankees, Major League Baseball.
There you go.
Oh, and it has a hat too.
Cock to the side. That's what I'm talking about. All right. So my sister here, she can appreciate sports. So hopefully she can appreciate the story. We always lead the show by saying that we got the top sports stories of the week. We're not a sports show. That's what Big Rube does on Fridays.
I know.
With
We're
the
married
sports
to
show
do that
Clutch.
with y'all.
Yes, the sports show Clutch. But tonight I want to ask y'all about this black hockey player who was attacked on Twitter after he scored a goal during a National Hockey League play. Now, we know that there are certain sports that are dominated by us, and then there's certain sports where we're the minority. We know that Tiger Woods used to hear about it when he was playing golf, and he ain't been playing since he had that unfortunate incident a couple of years ago with the crashing of the car. And
his reality check, right?
Yes, his reality check. After the Montreal Canadiens, PK Subban scored a game-winning goal last week during a match against the Boston Bruins. Bruins fans took to Twitter to express their racist disdain for the black hockey player. Now, I'm getting this from newsone.com. When News One actually went on to Twitter to look for a bunch of racist tweets, they found that the N-word was trending. They couldn't find a lot of those tweets because they had been deleted, but CBS Detroit was able to find a few, and they took a screenshot of a lot of the tweets that they actually found. And I won't get into some of the things they said, but just think of the nastiest, most vile things that you can say when you're attacking someone that's black and you're using the N-word. Now, let me just say this. Anybody that knows me knows I ain't feeling that word. I don't care who says it. I ain't feeling that word. But it's a little bit worse when white folks say that
outside
word.
the race, any race now.
Anybody,
Not just white now.
Yeah.
You know?
For me, outside the race, I don't want to hear nobody say it. I don't want to hear black people say it. I want to hear, Puerto Ricans say it. When Fat Joe be rhyming in hip hop and Big Pun and the other Latino fellas, just because you in the culture don't mean you get to say it. I don't want to hear nobody say it. But when white folks say it, it's a little bit different from me. And like I said, I'm not going to get into the specifics. I do want your comment on this. Let me just read this quote from the Boston Bruins president, Cam Neely. He issued the following statement regarding the tweet saying, quote, "The racist, classless views expressed by an ignorant group of individuals following Thursday's game via digital media are in no way a reflection of anyone associated with the Boston Bruins Association," end quote. So let me just preface the question, kind of set it up. How do you feel about social media, people hiding behind the keyboards and being what Big Rube would categorize as being text message gangsters? That's what he would call
I saw that email, that little text too.
That's what he would call them.
I think the sad part about it is that social media, instead of it being just social, we have now made it a lifestyle. That's something that we have to live by, and we just feel comfortable. Thank you. We just feel comfortable with using that now as an exterior excuse to actually use our Fifth Amendments. No. If you see what he's trying to do, he's trying to, whatever. But I just think that, social media has played a significant part in having people take off their mask without you really seeing them. And I do agree with the social media gangsters or thugs or whatever they're called. And I agree with you, too, that the N-word is not appropriate from anybody's mouth. I just know that with this guy being in a sport that not a lot of us are in, it being on social media really has, I would say, probably not a tremendous mark as if he has to hear it in the audience.
Can you imagine that though?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I had to hear a crowd booing me and doing that, I'm there. I'm seeing it. But if I'm just happen to be on Facebook and someone is just blasting me about it, that happened 20 minutes ago, I don't think the effect would challenge me, particularly if I'm an athlete and I know I'm good.
Right.
So
Right.
I hope that this player would just continue to be positive and be a role model. And it's very hard for you to stand out in a sport that everybody doesn't appreciate you being in.
Right.
But he's earned his right to be there.
Absolutely. Or else he wouldn't be there.
So, let me just reverse this. How do you feel about the Clippers situation? Here you are, you have an owner,
right?
You know what I'm saying, he's the owner of the team,
right? And
he's saying these things. I can understand that really crushing,
right,
versus a fan. And I may be wrong, so definitely speak up who's listening, but I think they could be a slight different too as an athlete. So call me 804-402-2893. But I know they're both separate, but I think that there's still a good comparison. What do you do when you have a boss or the owner who's giving you those lashings, but then you have your fans, or maybe not your fans, that you play for that are giving you the same lashings? Is it different? Is it the same? Or is no comparison?
No, I 100% agree with you. I think that's a very fair comparison, and I'm going to answer it in kind of separate. As far as the hockey guy, I mean, we know that people. Let's just keep it real. People are punks, yo, for real. Those people who were calling him those names in social media would never say those things to his face. Now, there's some folks that call him that word to his face. Hey, if you that dude or that lady, then so be a tough guy, right? Okay. But I'll give you an example, and I'm gonna address your Donald Sterling question in a second. But let me give you a perfect example. You know me, I'm a New York Yankees fan. Last week, one of our great former players, a fellow by the name of Robinson Cano, came back to New York for the first time with his new team. Okay? Last Tuesday was his first game playing against the Yankees. Okay? And on Monday, he was on one of the late night talk show guys. It's not Arsenio, so I won't say their names. I'll say Arsenio's names. I won't say the other guys' names. But it was one of the other guys who I can't even remember who it was. It was one of the younger ones. It wasn't one of the old guys. But anyway, they gave him a camera. They gave him a billboard. And they gave him someone with a microphone. And what the ruse was, he was going to stand inside of a box with a picture of himself, and they were going to go to random New York City fans who were not happy that he left the Yankees, and they were going to give those fans an opportunity to boo this picture of him. So the guy with the mic, he was like, you are a fan of Robinson Cano, but he's not here anymore. Are you going to boo him? Yeah, I'm going to boo him. All right, well, here's this picture. Go ahead and give us the big boo you got. So they booed the picture real bad, and then they turned to the guy, and they said, was that good enough? And like, nah, boo him one more time. And then they turn around, and then Robinson Cano walks out, and he's standing there. And they all turned around. It was about 10 different people that they showed. And it was funny, but every single one who was just booing his picture when he was standing there and they realized it was him, every single one of them said, oh, hey, man, hey, how you doing? It's good to see you.
Wow.
Welcome back to New York. Wow. They all turned into fakers at that point. And so what my point is, those people who said those things about this hockey player in social media are not people who would say these things to his face. If they were going to say it to his face, so be it. But generally, people are punks, and they hide behind the computer and they hide behind the keyboard when they think they can say things anonymously that they would not say to someone's face.
Well, and that bothers me because now conversations are not private anymore. Because I could be we're talking right now, and who's to say that there's nothing video?
You know they listening, right?
I recorded.
You know they listening, right?
Oh my God, the conspiracy theories that's going on in my head. But I just think that I think that it's just another trend in our society that we all need to be prepared for. Nothing's private anymore. Right. So if you're going to say something or do a joke or be passionate about something that you believe in, just don't be shocked if someone publicizes it for you, whether you want it or not. But again, sports to me is, American life, and we live through their celebrity and through their, their sportsmanship and how they dress and how they play, and we have these young children that are looking at them as role models. But yet, the role models, believe it or not, are not the athletes, Marcus. And you may agree, disagree. It is that person that I guess is on social media or on Twitter, saying their 2 cents.
Right.
And then want the artist or the athlete or whoever, or even the political figure, to punk them. Well, say something. I said it. Now you say something.
Well, everybody's looking.
They can't do that.
Everybody's looking for the camera to be on them. Everybody is
a response.
Yeah, they looking to get their 5 minutes or 10 minutes of fame or whatever it is, and they will go through whatever lengths it'll take to actually get that. Me personally, I mean, I ain't gonna call nobody out. I mean, but I just don't get the whole punk thing. If you're gonna say something, then say it. Say it to my face. Say it to PK subbing space. If you think he's the N-word, then call him the N-word to his face. But don't be hiding behind your computer under a pseudo name that ain't even your real name and call him out his name that way. And I just think that it's classless, it's punk. And, you know, if you're going to do it, then be real about it. Now, to directly address when you brought up Donald Sterling.
Yeah.
I look at it like this. Big Rube and I are the founders of Legacy Internet Radio, but Legacy Internet Radio is for all of us. I mean, we don't consider ourselves owners and all that kind of stuff. Y'all like to say that. That's fine. We appreciate that. But we consider ourselves as founders and not so much any of that. But we all, every single one of us, work for somebody when we leave here. We all got, you know, I don't want to say a real job because this is real to us as well, but we all have a job that pays our mortgage. If any of us thinks, and it's, what is it, 20 or more of us in Legacy and Radio, if any of us thinks that we go to a job and work for someone that does not think like Donald Sterling,
Oh, God.
then we done lost our damn mind. We real super naive, and we all kind of missing the teachable moment here. And so I was on the fence. I was back and forth. Should the players boycott? Well, the players should boycott if we should not go to work. So if you find out, and I'm not going to call you out, you ain't got to say where you work and all that stuff, Triana, but just think in your own mind and respond generally. If you found out that your boss was a racist and called you, you know, well, not you, but say called you, you know, your black female, you know, coworker the N-word in a private conversation, would you, Toyana, decide that you're not going to work tomorrow?
I will feel some type of way.
Well, we all would, but would you not go to work? We would feel some kind of way. You know, I would feel some kind of way if you told me that story secondhand. But the question is,
would it affect me get up the next day to go to work? Absolutely not, because my job is my passion. What I do and how long I've done it, and I believe I do a great job in it, and I don't believe that anybody can do it as good as I can, and I hopefully everybody thinks the same way on their jobs, that you have some type of value. So yeah, I wouldn't like going to work, but I know that at the end of the day, you know, it pays the bills. You know, if you think about it, I don't have to have Christmas dinner and Thanksgiving dinners with my boss. Right. I don't have to do anything except for what I'm supposed to do during the 8 hours or 12 hours that I'm deemed to do. But I will say this, if your boss is, I would say, generationally racist.
Right.
Because, you know, we have to think about this man. He's up in his age. He's been and seen a lot. That I think that, you know, today's society, we have to kind of respect that and understand. This is not like this is a 32-year-old man that's saying this. You know, this man is very mature in age, and he's well invested in his team, because he said it. You know, I clothe them, I feed them, I buy them cars. It does sound plantation.
How crazy was that part, though?
I thought I was watching 12 Years a Slave, but again, just have to remember, you know, he's not the only person. And I do like, and I can't remember the sports commentator, maybe you do, but he did make that point that out of the leagues that we do have, there's only 2 minority, and they're not even African American owners of teams. Right. So everybody's still, you know, of the white or Caucasian ethnicity, that they're able to still dominate a sport that our culture, you and my culture, is heavily invested in and helps give them billions of dollars.
I think that's where people get it messed up, though, because, you know, the truth of the matter is we are the product. And when I say we, I don't mean we as in black people. I mean we as in the people. We are the product. And so when you see the people that run the company feel this kind of way about you, when you think of similar companies, it really is disheartening, because when you think back what he said in that tape, he said to her, my friends are calling me and telling me that you out here doing these things and hanging out with these people or those people or whatever it was he said. So I'm thinking, I'm like,
Well, they think the same, right?
exactly. There you go. That's exactly where
That's what I got out
That's
of it.
exactly where I was going, because I'm like, yo, he ain't hanging out with people that look like Toyana. He ain't hanging out with people that look like Marcus J. He ain't hanging out with people that look like Big Rube or none of these people.
Yeah.
That
Or his own players, to be honest.
Right.
Think about it.
Exactly. I mean, he's hanging out with people, that remind him of him. And so it's just very disheartening when we're at this point of our existence in our country and we still have to deal with this. And the crazy part about it is